Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Brachi and I'm here to talk to you about skincare, beauty, DIYs, and self-growth. So I hope you're here and ready to grow with me, glow with me, everything along those lines. I hope this fan isn't annoying you. It's really hot here. Let me just check. I'm back and I had to turn off the fan and I did it for you guys because it was way too noisy. So if I start sweating profusely throughout this video, I'm sorry girl, but it's real hot in here. It's like 80 degrees outside. Anyways, let's get right to the video. So today I'm here to talk to you about attachment theory. This theory is pretty close to my heart. I have been on a self-growth journey for a lot of my life and it's been a slow process because I just finished law school and stuttering. What kind of lawyer will I be? So I just finished law school and it's pretty hard, as a lot of you know. A lot of you must have a lot going on in your lives. It's really hard to balance. It's been a slow journey, but the reason I'm talking about this series is because I know, like, especially on like TikTok, I see a lot of people exhibiting traits of these different insecure attachments, which I'm going to talk about more in the rest of the video. And I just think it's like an important thing to get out there so that people in our generation know about it, because parents don't teach this stuff. I mean, parents don't even know about this stuff for the most part. So I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of my story. And as it is, I spent the first 24 years of my life without ever being in a relationship that was committed and exclusive. 24 years. No, I'm not saying that's bad. I'm like very happy I had all that time to be independent and work on myself. But once I turned 24, I realized that it might be something other than just me trying to work on myself and be independent. I started doing more research into psychologists and what they think about this stuff, and I came across attachment theory. And I realized that I actually had an insecure attachment style after taking the quiz in the book. That's when I started my journey, and within months I was in a healthy relationship, which we were not together, which isn't a bad thing. It just wasn't a good relationship. So if you've come to this video, you've likely had some trouble with love. And as I discussed, I had a similar situation. I had dated a lot of guys, but every time a guy tried to close a relationship and be exclusive, I would either evade that question or I would run away. One time I even stopped talking to him, which was really unhealthy, not gonna lie. But now that I know why I did that, I understand myself better. So basically, attachment theory was first developed by British psychologist John Bowlby, and in short, the concept is that human beings develop a type of attachment with their caregivers during childhood. So your mom and your dad present this world to you where, you know, you either get the attention you need, or you get too much attention, or you get not enough love, or you learn how to receive love from your parents at a young age and what you need to exhibit as a child to receive that love. These are all different traits that you learn as a child, and that's what creates this attachment theory for you. And you take this theory and you take what you learned as a child into your adulthood and into your adult relationships, and that's what you're exhibiting right now in every relationship you have and you don't have with a significant other. So the emotional bond with the parent and child affects how the child interprets relationships as an adult, as I said. So perhaps you did not receive enough attention and that made you develop an insecure attachment style like me. And I just want to add that, like, I had a two-parent, I'm really thankful I have a two-parent household. My parents fed me, gave me clothes, shelter. I was always safe, but I still had an insecure attachment style. You might think that your childhood was perfect, but the trauma comes out in different ways. And I feel like emotional trauma is interpreted by many people as something really dreadful and like tragic, but sometimes the tragedy is small but long-term. So for example, I am South Asian, and I think that perhaps our parents just inherit these traits and learn how to take care of us as they were taken care of. So it's kind of like generational trauma that is passed down from generation to generation. So it's not that my parents didn't give me the love that I needed, it's that they gave me the love that they were taught to give me. And this is something that is so hard for me to come to terms with. I'm still working on it because I keep, I get upset sometimes. I'm like, why don't you listen to my problems? Like, why don't you take me more seriously when I give you any advice? But those are all things that like our parents sometimes learn from their parents and they just kind of pass down. But that's why we're talking about attachment theory, and we're gonna figure out how to stop this problem so that our kids don't get this. But it's important to look into this because you never know how it manifests in a childhood relationship with your parent. And I think it's pretty beneficial for everyone, even if on the surface level, it looks like you don't need to worry about this problem, which isn't a problem. It's just it's a way of understanding things. That's how I should say. So there are 3 kinds of attachment styles. There's anxious, avoidant, and secure. And the book that I read, there's also anxious avoidant. Lucky me, I was anxious avoidant. Now let me tell you, I think that the way that it's structured is that about 50% of the population has a secure attachment style, which is good. That's what we want. Like 25% has anxious and 20% has avoidant, and they leave 5% out there. And I think that's what anxious avoidant is. So I am 5% of the population, and I'm just so honored to be unique in some way. I'm kidding. No, I'm like working on getting to a secure attachment style for sure. But I just thought it was funny that I'm unique. So I'm gonna read the 3 definitions of the types of attachment styles from the book that I learned it from. And it's a book that I highly recommend that you get. So I'm just gonna tell you right away before we move on with the rest of the video. This book was called Attached, The New Science of Adult Attachment and How It Can Help You Find and Keep Love. I got it on Amazon for $12.75. You can get it too. I'll link it down below. Really easy to get it. And the author is Rachel Heller. This is obviously not sponsored. I have like 5 subscribers. Do not worry. So anyways, I love the book. Highly recommend it. But let's get right to the definitions again. So the first style, anxious. Anxious people are often preoccupied with their relationships and tend to worry about their parents' ability to love them back. Now this is taken right from the Amazon description. So I have a few friends that are anxious. You may notice yourself having trust issues. You may notice yourself always worrying about why your significant other isn't texting you, worrying that they don't love you, worrying that they don't love you enough, worrying that they're gonna run away and leave you at some point. That's an anxious attachment style. Obviously, there are so many other ways to identify if you have this trait, and I would recommend either going on Google and finding a quiz. You take a multiple choice quiz and they tell you which attachment style you have, or buying this amazing book and trying it out. So yeah, that's the anxious attachment style. The second one is avoidant people, and avoidant attachment styles mean that the people equate intimacy with a loss of independence and constantly try to minimize closeness. So what's interesting is that I feel like a lot of guys may come off as avoidant because they try to avoid a closed relationship. And especially nowadays, a lot of us are aware that sometimes guys get hurt in a past relationship with a girl when they're younger, and then as they move forward in life, they're either hung up on their ex or they're unwilling to open themselves up again to a new relationship. And that is an avoidant attachment style for the most part. Of course, I don't know every single guy personally, but that's kind of my interpretation of it. So if you're in a relationship with a guy, or you're talking to a guy and he seems like he's not really trying to be exclusive, he might just not like you that much. I'm sorry to say that's the truth. And sometimes it's best to just like understand that's the truth and just get past it. Or B, if he does really like you and he's having trouble being exclusive, it might be because he's holding on to something in his past with a girlfriend, or because he's holding on to something in his past in his childhood. That was a lot of stuttering, I'm so sorry. But basically, it's nice to know that when you're going in a relationship, or you know that there's something up with your guy, it's just nice to understand their thought process. And if they're open to it, which I really hope they are, and they look into this type of work, they can work on themselves and figure out how to open themselves back up to love. The third one is secure attachment style. And secure people feel comfortable with intimacy and are usually warm and loving. Oh God, I'm sweating. I actually am. I'm so sorry. But secure people are what we all want to be. And it's actually interesting to see that 50% of the population is secure, because that is a high number. I am not gonna lie. But that's why a lot of people are in relationships and they're happy. We just don't hear them talking much about it because they're happy. I feel like only unhappy people really babble on about the relationship. So secure people are calm, they trust their partners, they love their partners, and they understand that secure relationships are often boring. And that's like the main takeaway I got from reading the book. It kept telling me that you might be in a secure relationship and you might wonder, is this boring? But that in fact is your anxious, avoidant, insecure attachment style coming out. And I thought this was really important because like I've been in a relationship where I felt boring. I've been in one relationship, so we can figure out which one it was. But there were points where I was like, what if this guy is just, you know, not for me? We don't have that energy that I see in movies. And that's because Hollywood does not depict secure attachment style often. It's usually anxious and avoidant, like the girl is running after the guy or the guy's running after the girl. That's not healthy. Like, we do not learn healthy attachment styles from media. So yeah, like when I learned that secure people just have kind of a boring relationship because they don't have the energy, the excitement from an anxious avoidant relationship, it was really surprising because what we learn as passionate is often not a secure attachment. So that's just something like a major takeaway that I got from the book. And last one is anxious avoidant. That's someone with a little bit of both. And I was lucky enough to have that. And I don't know, like I've been working a lot on myself. And the good thing about knowing your attachment style is that you can identify when you're reacting in a certain way and you know why. Like for example, if there's absolutely no reason for you to be worried that someone doesn't love you and the person is really exhibiting all the traits possible. Sometimes they don't prove it. That's just a completely different story. But if someone's trying their best, they're really there for you, they're loyal, they're trustworthy, they listen to you, and you still feel like they don't love you, that could be your anxious attachment style. Or if you're in a loving relationship and all of a sudden you want to like let go, drop it, or this is my problem and it still is. Another example of being avoidant is I'm in a healthy relationship, but I keep thinking of ways to end it, why it has to end, like why it's not good for me, why it's not good long term. And that is an avoidant attachment style. And that's something that I haven't been able to completely get out of my system. So I'm not gonna lie, like knowing your attachment style isn't really gonna fix the problem because it's just identifying a pattern of behavior, a pattern of thought in your mind. But afterwards, you can work on yourself through other ways. So for example, I am on a self-growth journey, as I mentioned, and I am trying to find different ways to heal myself and the inner child within me. And I want to make other videos about that because I'm not an expert, but I feel like creating this community of people that are working on ourselves, because I know a lot of people are. I think it'll be nice to know that some of us are struggling too, and I just want to walk through some of these things with you guys. But that's for later. So yeah, those were the 3 attachment styles. 3.5 kind of because of the anxious avoidant one over there. I highly recommend that you either check out the book or you Google anxious avoidant attachment style online, because that's where you can actually find solutions. Like once you start identifying patterns, and like you don't need the book, you can find it online too, you can find this information online. But once you start identifying the patterns in yourself, then you can start telling yourself, talking to yourself, figuring a way out of those patterns. And it's really hard. Like I'm not gonna lie, it was really hard for me, but like knowing how I reacted in a mediocre relationship, I can go into a good relationship and know not to sabotage the relationship because I know these behaviors and I can identify them and explain them to my partner. Yeah, like I'm not gonna give you guys more tips than that. I like recommend that you check out Google or you check out the book, because those are psychologists that have actually studied attachment theory. And I'm just here to share my knowledge with you that I have learned from others and kind of just tell you guys to check it out, because I know it's kind of scary to sometimes just delve into psychology when we're just young people here, but it's helpful. And hopefully this video helps you guys. It's one of the few self-growth things. It's one of the few self-help books that helped me, first of all, and it's one of the few self-growth tactics that I've really still been trying to keep in touch with and keep in mind. So that's it for this video. I hope it was helpful. If you liked it even a little bit, if you think I'm even a little okay, please like and subscribe. Let's be friends. If you're also a new YouTuber, because I know a lot of new YouTubers find me, let me know. I want friends. Bye guys.